It's The Drive on your local radio station. We are ESPN Black. Get off your phone. ESPN Blacksburg, and a good Monday afternoon to all of you. My name is Paul Van Wagner.
Hello.
I'm going to start a rule. No cell phones in the control studio.
I was making sure everyone was listening.
Was it at least a girl?
Sure.
Okay. All right. If we can get Trey off of Tinder, the number is 866-961-1430, 866-961-1430. You can also text us. The number is exactly the same. It is 866-961-1430.
Keep my hands to myself. No matter how hard I'm trying to,
Scott Nason.
I want
Scott.
all to myself.
Scott Nason. Scott.
Scott. Like a love song, baby. When you're ready, come and get
Scott Nason.
Scott.
Scott Nason. Scott Nason. Scott Nason.
Absolutely, let's go.
Scott Nason joining us today. How are you, my friend?
Gentlemen, I'm doing wonderful. Unlike the last time I tried to be on your show, I'm in much better cell service. Being in the upper reaches of Michigan, sometimes we have issues, and I'm ready to talk some WWE SummerSlam, baby.
That's right. SummerSlam, the biggest event of the summer last night. I got to tell you, I talked to a mutual friend of ours, Doug, and we were having the conversation about I really feel like this was the best pay-per-view the WWE has put on in a long, long time. I give this whole thing, Scott, a solid A. What are your thoughts?
You know, I thought it was the best one this year. There were some fantastic matches in it. I know we're going to go through a few of them. I thought the SmackDown brand really had a good night. Outside of one match there, I give it a B+. I do have a couple small issues, but I would definitely say it was the best pay-per-view of the year. I didn't think the build-up to some of these matches was the greatest, but some of these guys and girls really delivered last night at the Barclays Center.
Trey, I don't know what are you doing over there. What are you?
Telling you, I'd give it an A-.
A minus.
It was pretty good. There were some holes in it. But my grading scale's probably a little bit more loose than Scotty's.
Wow.
But also, the moment of the night happened for me, and I was happy. Well, two moments happened that made me really happy.
Okay, but give us your best two moments of the night.
Well, one should be obvious. The love of my life,
Ronda Rousey wins the women's championship.
We saw Demon Balor, who's kind of one of my favorite wrestlers.
Okay, okay, I can see that. Scott, give me your two highlights of the night.
I thought the AJ Styles Samoa Joe match was the best of the night.
I loved it.
The ending, I see why they did it, because they're going to want to extend this feud, and they should,
Yeah.
because it's two guys that have taken a long time to get to where they need to be in the WWE. And being that they had that familiarity with each other made for a great match. I mean, those guys took some amazing lumps. And I think the Miz and Daniel Bryan, this is something that's, 7-8 years in the making, was a good storyline. I like the way they did it. I like the way the Miz won it, because you're probably going to see, assuming Daniel Bryan does re-sign with the WWE, I'm sure you're going to see that match again. So those were my two moments. I thought the best two matches of the night.
I thought the Intercontinental Championship was unbelievable. Dean Ambrose is absolutely jacked coming back from the tricep injury. I think that is fantastic. The one moment that really disappointed me, though, guys, was the Bludgeon Brothers and the New Day match. I thought that was just garbage from the get-go, and it just kept getting worse.
All they had to do was give it to drop the title to the New Day, but they did a DQ. To go back to that Samoa Joe AJ Styles thing Scott was talking about, I love that. The "Who's Your Daddy" line by Joe. I said some word. I just those reactions where you see the just go like well, they say a bad word, but I can't say it on air.
Right.
But,
Thank you for not doing that.
That's
I've never had to dump a producer. That would be fantastic if you could keep that. Please keep that going for me.
So I'll keep it going.
Scott, what did you think? I mean, was that Bludgeon Brother match bad?
It was. I thought the two worst matches were that one, and I think the Nakamura Jeff Hardy match was a little clunky there. Again, those weren't bad matches on a lot of other pay-per-views. I would say those would be some of the better matches, but those are definitely the two worst. And, it really shows the tag teams, especially in Raw, when you had the tag team championship on the pre-show with the B team. It shows that the tag teams right now are hurting all across the board. I mean, the New Day still has a good shtick going. How long they do that, I don't know. I think you're going to see one of those guys turn heel at some point. And the Bludgeon Brothers, I mean, it is what it is. I mean, when you bring sledgehammers to the ring and you don't use them, it kind of defeats the purpose. So I agree with you, Paul. I thought that was a bad ending and a bad match.
I understand why they did what they did, and I knew kind of when it happened where they were going with it. I felt like we got robbed on the Kevin Owens, Braun Strowman match. I feel like...
I loved it, though.
Well, yeah, I mean, I didn't hate it. I feel like Kevin Owens...
Could do more with the Money in the Bank briefcase.
The prize fighter, right? Like,
He's a snarly... He's one of the best heels in the business.
Right, but I just feel like if you're
gonna... do more with the briefcase.
If you're gonna be that heel, like, you need to be... Like, just getting absolutely dominated by Braun Strowman doesn't do anything for your brand.
Yeah.
No, it really doesn't, Paul. And, you know, you look at Raw right now, they don't have a lot of heels. I mean, you have a lot of faces, Roman Reigns being one of those that the fans still do not like, but is still a face. And you look at Kevin Owens, probably the best guy on the mic on Raw right now, definitely the best heel on the mic, and he was absolutely embarrassed. And it leads me to believe that somehow he got on Vince's bad side in some way. I don't know what he did, but to get that humiliated, not even to get literally a punch in,
right.
Really, you scratch your head on that one. I get why Braun Strowman, I get why you get to push him, because he is getting a big push, as he should. He's one of the most popular wrestlers going out there right now, but I don't like how they did Kevin Owens in that one at all.
Trey, you mentioned the Ronda Rousey Alexa Bliss match.
It went perfectly.
The Becky Lynch, Carmella, and Charlotte.
I love Becky fermenting her frustration. I did tell you on Thursday, there's going to be some heelish action happening.
Yeah.
So I think it was, if we go back to my predictions, I was pretty close on everything.
I thought that the ladies overall, though, really, they continue to just bring it every single night.
I think Charlotte and Ronda could be the two best athletes in all of WWE. Truly.
Scott?
Love the Becky Lynch heel turn. They needed to do something with her. She's been a face for a long time, pretty much since she won the first SmackDown Women's Championship. So I really like how they did it. I like what they did. Charlotte getting some heat from the fans there. Don't know if that's going to be a Roman Reigns type heat, but there are a lot of people that aren't real fond of Charlotte getting the title. But I love Becky Lynch as a heel. And you got to give a little credit to Carmella, somebody that doesn't usually put on a very good match. She's great on the mic, among other things. But I thought she did okay last night. I thought she performed well. And Ronda Rousey, I mean, you knew that was coming. That was pretty much my stone cold lock, was her winning the title there. You know, it's going to set up maybe champion versus champion, Charlotte, Ronda Rousey at WrestleMania next year. 35. I know Sasha Banks' name has been thrown in the mix. Women's division is hot right now, and they're going to get their own pay-per-view here in a couple months. Women's wrestling right now is really doing well.
I think the only thing Trey didn't like about that whole Ronda Rousey thing was that at the end of the match, she went over and gave her husband a kiss and not him.
You are right. I said to myself, man, I wish I was Travis Brown at the time. But I do not want to get myself interactive with Travis Brown, because he is a UFC heavyweight, and I would die.
You can take him, Trey. I got faith in
that. No. You couldn't take him.
I think we need to set that up.
We need like 6 people to take him.
We need to set that up. Trey versus for Ronda. The winner gets Ronda.
I would lose. They would honestly. You just get the body bag ready. Like.
All right. Scott, the last match, the one we haven't talked about. Well, actually, let's do Finn Balor, Baron Corbin. I was okay with this match. I'm not sure how I feel about this whole feud between the two of them. It feels forced sometimes, but Trey did mention the fact that the Demon Finn Balor came out, which I thought was kind of cool. What were your thoughts about that?
I agree. I mean, I think you need to end this feud right there, and I think it did. And seeing the smiling, happy Finn Balor over the last couple months kind of reminds me of somebody you didn't see on the pay-per-view yesterday, Bobby Roode, somebody that was just hot coming out of NXT, and they turned him into a face, and it just kind of destroyed the character. Mm-hmm. We've seen that with a lot of them, but I think Finn Balor can resurrect himself, and he did last night, bringing back the Demon. I mean, you got to bring that back. for the big pay-per-views, and they did a good job with that. Baron Corbin, Mike skills bad, wrestling skills bad, not a fan.
Yeah, very true. Universal Championship finally went the way it should have went back in Jeddah, Saudi Arabia.
And WrestleMania.
Yeah. Yeah. Look, I'm not a fan of the part-time champion.
I was just like, didn't even care at that point. Like, it was so far in, and I was just like, when Strowman came out, I was like, business is picking up. I thought it was going to be a triple threat. And
I did too.
And then whatever happened, I mean, I'm very indifferent about Roman Reigns. Like, he's just a white meat babyface that is being forced to do a person that he's not. And I feel if he was able to be himself, his character development would be a lot better.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong.
Let's look at his cousin, as I give air quotes to it, The Rock. It's very similar trajectory. They gave him a white meat babyface, then they let him be himself, and I mean, he's maybe the biggest star in the world right now.
Yeah, but Scott, you can't there's no way Roman Reigns is doing the people's eyebrow and
No, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, like, in terms of.
Do you think
how
there's
they
that
should
much
treat him.
charisma there, though?
No. I'm saying I'm just using comparisons of how they should treat Roman Reigns. I'm not saying he's The Rock. No one is The Rock.
Okay. All right. What were your thoughts on the match, Scott?
Well, three things with this, Paul. One, how it took 3 matches and all the build-up, literally, 2 years to get to a
Well, when your
6-minute match
Universal Champion only shows up 4 times a year, it takes some time, Scott.
I get that totally, but, you look at all this wait for a 6-minute match, which left a little to be desired. Both those gentlemen do not put on the best matches in the ring. Secondly, this is really Vince kind of giving a big you-know-what with the third finger on your hand to a lot of fans, especially the way they swerved Braun Strowman coming in. You thought, okay, the fans got a pop. They were ready. The winner of this match, which not many people cared about, was going to take Braun Strowman, and then he exits stage left.
Yep.
And Roman Reigns, who they have been pushing and pushing despite all the pushback from the WWE Universe, gets the championship. And thirdly, how quickly, I don't know if it was time constraints or what, but how quickly they switched off after he won the championship. I don't think they wanted to get a lot of the boos or the you both suck chants. Be interesting to see what they do with Reigns, with the lack of heels and Paul Heyman maybe being a free agent. I know they've teased it a little bit. I mean, don't you have to, at this point, make Reigns a heel? He pretty much is in most people's world. I think that would be the logical thing, because Strowman obviously is not a heel right now. He's a babyface, and he's getting a huge push.
Are we beyond that, though? The heel, the face? I mean, it feels like go back to the Charlotte and Becky Lynch thing. I mean, Becky Lynch, they tried to turn her, and she gets the Stone Cold pop.
And I don't even think it was a heel turn. Like, I didn't feel the heel turn. I felt it was more of, like, Becky trying to step out as her own thing. And we'll see what happens on SmackDown, how it gets treated. But I think it was more Becky trying to step out on her own thing, because if you look at it, the fans went nuts when it happened, and I think you can't turn someone quote-unquote heel or get real heat when the fans are that's the person the fans are behind, because you're not going to be able to force fans to change their minds.
True, very true. Scott, final thoughts on the biggest event of the summer, SummerSlam.
Again, I think they did a very good job. I give it a high B, a couple things that I did have a problem with, but overall, I think they got it right. The fans were engaged throughout after the night before NXT TakeOver. If you haven't watched that, I'll tell you what, NXT and those takeovers performs each and every time they do it before SummerSlam. Good job, WWE. Let's keep it going into the dog days of summer into early fall. Of course, you're going to have the women's pay-per-view in October. You're going to have HELL in a cell, and then you're going to have, I believe, one of the other ones coming up. It's a continuous cycle. We'll keep watching no matter how bad or good it gets.
Or New Zealand, the Cricket Stadium. Super Showdown is coming up.
Oh.
With Triple H versus The Undertaker. Getting old school up in here.
Yeah, not interested.
Nope.
Scott Nason, where can our listeners get more from you, my man?
We have our sports show, The Game, taking a week off. We'll be back next Monday. You can find past episodes at thegamesportshow.podbean.com.
Scott, as always, thank you so much for doing this. I appreciate it.
Guys, have a great week. Paul, I'll talk to you tomorrow night, sir.
All right, take care. Talk to you soon. There you go. Scott Nason, we appreciate him joining us right here on The Drive.
Carrying the message to other sports junkies. This is ESPN Blacksburg.